Hello YouTube, welcome to another YouTube video. I'm just going to be pretty much running around, parkouring around MD as we go over the patch notes. So, let's dive right into it. If you want to put this in your background while you're farming, doing OPR, etc., feel free to do that. The only part I'm really going to show anything on screen is going to be the combat changes, which I'll call it out when I'm doing that. But welcome back to another YouTube video. This is going to be about the update 2.0.2, which promises to enhance performance, bring much needed gameplay adjustments. So grab your gear, let's jump right into it. We're going to start with the performance changes. So let's talk about that right now. The developers have implemented change to how shaders are loaded into the game on the game client. This should significantly reduce frame hitching, stuttering, leading to a smoother overall gameplay experience. However, be prepared for slightly longer game boot up times. Depending on your hardware setup, SSD users will experience fewer delays. HDD users might notice longer load times. But while your client loads up the necessary assets, you'll see a New World logo screen for up to a minute. Don't worry, this is part of the process. The development team is committed to further optimization and will closely monitor player feedback to ensure the best possible performance. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Hopefully the performance is better. I know it's been lagging back a little bit, so hope that's fixed. Now on to combat changes. Let's talk about that. So if you guys want to pull up my video and not be watching this part in the background, I will be showing off a little bit. But in the realm of combat, blunderbuss ability, splitting grenade will no longer allow players to end its recovery early. So what that means is there is a little combo you can do to really one-shot burst someone. I would assume people are still going to find a way around it. They always have since the weapon has been released, but we'll see what happens. It's a good change if it does fix the current combinations to allow you to burst someone very quickly. But now, attributes. Let's talk about that. Players are now going to gain more health off the first 150 levels of Constitution attribute points. So, what does that mean? The first 150 you're going to get more health since the update has been delayed and it is not out yet. The current health at 150 is 11,779. So if you're watching this video after the update has gone live, you can compare your health then versus now. But it has been delayed for I don't know how long. I would assume only a day. Probably the update will be later today. He probably will be out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. They're also going to be changing the Dex attribute. 150 and 300. That is going to be swapping. So what does that mean? The 150 is currently dodges are 10% or 10 less stamina at 150 attribute points. Now that is going to be the 300, and then the 150 will now be a guaranteed crit after dodge. Can only trigger once every 10 seconds. That's going to be an interesting little change. Now let's go on to the spear. Spear is going to get a slight nerf, which I hate to see, but it is what it is. Cyclones, 50% slow is now going to be a 30% slow. Also, the Leeching Cyclone perk is now only going to apply to 3 people versus all people, which is probably a good change. You were able to go back to full health. And then now the sword and shield. Let's see. Weapon mastery, sword and shield. The Achilles heel. The final attack of your light chain was inflicting a 20% slow for 2 seconds. That is now going to be changed to a rend. I would assume it can't be a 20% rend because that's kind of big. I'm not really sure what the rend is going to be. They haven't said. But then let's go into the Elite Sandworm Trial. Just a bug fix here. That is over here, the Trial of the Devourer, if you are unaware. The Elite Sandworm Trial has received some much needed attention. Players who previously died during the encounter we're not receiving rewards upon completion. So what does that mean? If someone full died during the run, but then the rest of the group still finished it, the person who died was not getting rewards. That's a kind of a crappy bug. I'm glad the fix is finally here. It should have came sooner, honestly, but glad it is finally going to be here. Now, economy progression in gear. In this update, fish have been adjusted to provide a more balanced challenge for anglers. So I assume they're making it harder to fish. That's most likely to combat bots. It seems like every update they do to fishing is to solely combat bots, which is kind of unfortunate. That instead of dealing with the bot issue, they're just nerfing over and over again. It's now pretty much impossible to get a chest Unless somebody watching this video knows how to get the fishing chest, what the exact luck you need, it seems to be impossible. But they're also introducing hotkeys to gear set storages, so I assume there's going to be a hotkey for all your storage, your gear sets. So I have 5 of them, so I can, for example, if I were to set it to 5, I could just hotkey hit 5, boom, gear set 5 now comes out, which, since you get out of combat so quickly, it's going to be pretty cool for PvE. I doubt it's going to affect PvP, we'll see. And then last thing, if you're into artisan fishing, not really sure, I assume it's an artisan fishing pole, was disabled apparently. You'll be happy to know you can now use the artisan fishing pole, is now usable again. That is going to be it for economy, progression, and gear. Now let's go on to Season Pass and Trials. The Season Pass has also had some fixes. The Earn PvP XP Season Activity should now display the correct text. And the Season XP awarded for crafting gypsum casts will now scale correctly when crafting multiple casts at once. So that's nice. I don't think you could even craft multiple gypsum at once. I'm pretty sure it's 1 by 1. Unless they mean making the gypsum. They say gypsum cast. But either way, I guess that's going to be a change they're going to be doing. Additionally, players who didn't earn their gear set slot in Season 1 Season Pass can now purchase it through the store. What I believe that means, if you didn't buy the Season 1 Season Pass, you can now buy this gear set in the store. It seems like. I honestly don't know what they're going for there. Sorry, I had to yawn. It is early in the morning. The season trials has been also tweaked, ensuring that the Horde Master boss spawns the intended number of monsters. Assuming he just wasn't spawning monsters. Now let's go on to the quests. So if you haven't done the quest line yet for the season, during the Break Some Eggs quest, you no longer need to travel to Neapolis. The hatchery soul trial will now unlock immediately after applying the oil, which is nice. You get to travel back and forth, which is kind of stupid, but glad that change has happened. The enemy's health and damage in the soul trial has also been reduced to make a more balanced challenge. To be completely honest, the soul challenge has already been super easy. I hope they're talking about the quest, where if you want to do it solo, that's going to be easier. But it's already super easy, so that'll make it easier, I guess. Also, don't worry about the NPC spawned guy. He'll no longer be popping up in the world. I haven't seen that, but if you have, that is now fixed. Now on to game modes. Let's talk about Outpost Rush. Outpost Rush enthusiasts will be happy to know that the personal score points gained from contesting outpost control points have been increased by a whopping 40%. Hopefully that gets more people on the point, but I don't think it will. It's a step in the right direction to try to create better gameplay, but we'll see what happens. And for those itching for 3v3 arena action, the original arena map will be coming back for only 2 weeks, though, before the old one. Yawning again, man. I gotta get some coffee. But then the new arena map will come again 2 days later, so it looks like it's gonna be on a 2-week cycle for the arenas. As for the minstrel pattern, that is now getting fixed, but I assume the other patterns are still going to be broken. I know a lot of the patterns don't even allow you to use the right tier materials, but now that one is now showing up and working correctly, apparently. The chat window texture loading issue has been resolved. Haven't had that, but that is now resolved. The chat channel tooltips are now displaying correctly, so I would assume global arena help recruitment chat might have been messed up for people. That is now going to be fixed. Furthermore, localized text on faction boards have been fixed for times when no PvP missions are available. So I assume when you open up the faction board, top right hand corner, it says missions are refreshing in 4 minutes. That might be displayed better, or B, a new mission will be available soon. Might just be bigger text. I assume that's what the fix is. But that is going to be it. That wraps up our breakdown of the New World Update 2.0.2. The performance changes, the combat changes, and the various fixes promise to enrich your adventurers in Eternum. But as always, guys, thank you guys for hanging out, listening to the video, watching the video, etc. If you guys enjoyed the content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Honestly, comment below what you guys want to see. Honestly, give me your feedback. Let me see what you guys want to see, videos you want to see, tips you want to see, breakdowns, anything. I am here to be your provider of content, so let me see. Let me give you what you guys want. But I also stream on Twitch. I'll put that down below. I'll put the patch notes down below as well. But as always, I love you all. Have the best day ever. Till next time, I'm out.